We know what the issue is. We're resolving and have resolved the issue now. It's recovering systems that are out there. And essentially, as you've talked about in the statement I put out, is the system was sent an update, and that update had a software bug in it and caused an issue with the Microsoft operating system.
Whenever you have technical issues with technology, the number one thing you have to do is to turn it off and then turn it on back again. If that didn't solve the issue, then the issue is probably much bigger. Anyways, back to the serious stuff here, we have to talk about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike was down closer to 20% before the market opens. Now the market is open and the stock is down 9%. There has been a small recovery already at around the 200-day moving average. Now right now this is a company with a market cap of just over $80 billion with a forward PE of 81.8 times. Year to date, the stock is still up 22% despite the recent pullback and of course despite the crash of Friday. Now what exactly has happened? We're going to touch on that in this video. You've already heard the CEO speak a little bit about what's happening, what they are doing right now, and we're also going to touch on some analyst comments on this issue. Now before we do that, we can already look at the analyst estimates for the coming fiscal years. Clearly, they're all quite bullish, or at least they were quite bullish on the company before the event happened. Top and bottom line growing quite fast. Of course, this is a company that is expensive and has been expensive for a long time. For example, if we look at forward PE, EV to EBITDA, price to sales, price to free cash flow, price earnings to growth, yes, despite it being lower than its 5-year mean, it still is quite expensive, which just shows you that this company is always expensive, and despite it being expensive, the stock can continue to go up because the business continues to grow top and bottom line, because the company is dominating the sector that it operates in, which is cybersecurity. Now, before diving a little bit deeper, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, we really appreciate that. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment with the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. Let's first start with the post from the CEO in the middle of the night. So CrowdStrike is actively working with customers impacted by a defect found in a single content update for Windows hosts. Mac and Linux hosts are not impacted. This is not a security incident or cyber attack. The issue has been identified, isolated, and a fix has been deployed. We refer customers to the support portal for the latest updates and will continue to provide complete and continuous updates on our website. We further recommend organizations ensure they are communicating with CrowdStrike representatives through official channels. Our team is fully mobilized to ensure the security and stability of CrowdStrike customers. Now, again, this is not really a full apology, although on TV he did apologize a little bit, but the big issue for me here, or the big question mark, is that how is it possible that a defect found in a single content update for Windows caused all of this damage? I mean, it's quite mind-boggling. One, that's bullish, of course, how important CrowdStrike actually is, because if it wasn't a successful company, if it wasn't an important company, well, the world would not have been impacted by this so much. But on the other side, I found it extremely strange that CrowdStrike can have root access to any device and how easily it can screw everything up with just a defect, a bug in an update. I mean, that's truly mind-blowing. Anyways, moving on to a couple of analyst comments. The first one coming from Dennis at Wedbush. This is clearly a major black eye for CrowdStrike, and the stock will be under pressure after this global outage related to Microsoft has caused massive disruption globally. This is a technical update and importantly not a hack cybersecurity threat, which would be more worrying. I agree, if this would have been a hack, the stock would probably be down 20-30% or so. CrowdStrike has a strong brand and a global marketing presence, which will need to go into next gear over the coming weeks and months to curtail some damage from this. While CrowdStrike's issue impacted global companies and customers, it could create an opportunity for other cybersecurity firms to take advantage. He says it could create opportunity for some competitive displacements, but this will take time to determine the path of CIOs and companies looking ahead and related legal actions related to this outage. I fully agree. Just because things are getting better throughout the day does not mean that the story ends here. So for those of you that hold Palo Alto networks, Fortinet, today is probably a good day for you, but it remains to be seen if it will truly have a positive financial impact on those companies. Moving on to a note from Rosenblatt, they're saying this is a buying opportunity and have a $420 price target. Say, isolated incident, not a systemic issue. The outage stemmed from a single faulty update, not a fundamental flaw in CrowdStrike platform. Again, they talk about this as if this is a normal thing. This is not a normal thing, especially not in today's day and age where you have ChatGPTs that can go through your code and see if there is a bug, if there is a mistake. I mean, why even release it to the world without testing it, let's say, internally or, I don't know, on a so-called digital twin? Of course, there's no digital twin for these types of things, but I hope you get what I'm saying here. Just releasing such a huge update to the world without testing it before or releasing it first to a small cohort is, to me, just, I mean, it's crazy. They continue by basically saying that look how big they are, what they are impacting, who their clients are, etc., etc. They remain positive and bullish on the long-term growth trajectory of the company. Switching to Stifel here, they said they're pleased that the initial conclusion is that this is related to a bad update. It's not surprising to see CrowdStrike shares steeply trade down in pre-market trading given the negative headline risk associated with such a widespread attack, not to mention CrowdStrike premium valuation and year-to-date run in shares. From a reputational risk perspective, we are pleased that the initial conclusion is that this is related to a bad update and not a security incident or cyber attack. While both have the same ultimate impact, we believe the latter is a worse look, especially from a cybersecurity vendor. While internal controls need to be in place to prevent a corrupt update from being deployed in the first place, the reality is these things do happen, and almost all vendors, including Microsoft, have released bad updates through the years. That said, we expect other endpoint vendors, especially SentinelOne, to look to capitalize on the negative fallout in the near term, given this event happened so close to the end of CrowdStrike quarter. We wonder if it will impact close rates in the final few weeks. We arrive at a 12-month target price of $400 by applying an 18.5 times calendar year 2025 EV to ARR multiple versus high growth peers at 10 times. And by the way, this now does make the potential Google Wiz $23 billion acquisition, it does not look so silly anymore. I quickly want to touch on CrowdStrike Q1 numbers just to show you how fast this company is growing. So record Q1 net new ARR with ending ARR at $3.65 billion. That's up 33% year over year. Net new ARR growing 22% year over year to $212 million. Operating margin at 22%, up 5 percentage points year over year. Diluted earnings per share 93 cents, that's up 63% year over year, with free cash flow increasing 42% year on year to $322 million, and then free cash flow margin 35% and rule of 40 at 68. As for the rest here, subscription revenue reached $872 million, growing 34% year over year, with total revenue growing 33% year over year to reach $921 million. And lastly here, subscription gross profit reached $701 million, 34% year over year growth with an 80% margin. As for operating income, 22% margin there, growing 72% year over year. So I think it's pretty clear here you're getting a company, a quality company, despite, of course, the current disaster. A quality company that is growing top and bottom line quite fast, and definitely, I would say, the leader, if not one of the leaders in the cybersecurity space that is also continuing to grow year over year. And so right now on the weekly, this is what you get, a big red candle right now because of the event on Friday. You can see that at the start of the trading day, we did go a little bit under the 200-day moving average. Apparently the market did find quite a lot of buyers there. So it went back up. We can see this actually on the daily. On the daily, the RSI is actually oversold right now. As you can see, the candle is green because we opened much lower Now we did find some buyers. We did have a little rebound. Let's see what happens in the later hours of the day. Of course, it's Friday, so then you have the whole weekend to work this out. So overall, that's about it for CrowdStrike right now. This is everything you needed to know, or at least you need to know right now. If you're a long-term shareholder of CrowdStrike, I do believe that you're getting the shares a bit cheaper right now. The official impact, financial impacts remains to be seen. You're probably going to hear more in the next earnings report at the end of August. So I would say you could sit on your hands, you could buy the dip. For those that have been looking to open a position in CrowdStrike, yes, it has become a little bit cheaper today. But again, negative financial impacts could happen in the future because of this. But overall, still a very, very strong and fast growing company. So that's about it for this video. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.